What's up guys, I'm Jeff and welcome to part 3 of my Hell's Revenge Trail Guide series. This episode takes us from Hell's Gate to the Escalator through the heart of the Hell's Revenge Trail. We've got a lot of slick rock driving to do and a ton of named obstacles and features that we're going to cover in detail, such as the black hole, the optional hot tubs, and the mandatory Dragon's Tail descent. So we've got a lot to cover, let's get to it. We're starting this episode at the top of Hell's Gate. Episode 2 covers how to climb Hell's Gate in detail, so if you missed that video, go back and check it out to get caught up. From Hell's Gate, you drive back out on the same trail to the Hell's Gate and River Overlook Junction. This is the rockiest section between Hell's Gate and the Overlook Junction, so I wanted to throw this clip in here so you can get an idea how rocky and bumpy it is. Alright, we've made it back to the Hell's Gate and River Overlook Junction. You take a right at this point to continue on the main trail. You'll drive up over some slick rock and alternate between sand and a couple slick rock sections here. Then you finally come up to a big sandstone dome area that ends up taking you above the exposed black hole. On your way up to the black hole, you'll encounter a lot of these short little easy climbs. None of them have any bypasses and they aren't really very difficult. If you made it this far in the trail, then none of these climbs really should cause you any trouble. This is a spot that I really enjoy coming down. You've got a great view here. You're elevated above the surrounding canyons. Cameron's making his way around the bend in his Jeep JT Gladiator. It's on 35s and a 2-inch spacer lift. Just use caution on this turn here because it is a little twisted up, and I have seen a couple rigs lift a tire here. That's Jerry ahead of me in his FJ Cruiser on a 2.5-inch lift and 33s. He's making his way up one of these easy climbs. I usually try to square my Jeep up to these climbs. You can see I kind of swung around there just to help square up my Jeep, get the front tires up and climb right through it. Keep your eyes peeled for optional climbs on Hell's Revenge. There are a lot of them. Off to the left here is a cool optional ledge climb. It's straightforward but pretty undercut. Have done it before in 35s, but it did require a few attempts and quite a bit of momentum and throttle to climb up it. Okay, once you make your way up that little hill, you get to a really good view of the black hole. The trail skirts around to the right and then makes its way back to the left, and then you drive right on the edge of this cliff there. We'll get into that here in a little bit, but I wanted to take this chance to show you the cliff that you're going to be driving on the edge of here in a little while. This trail has a ton of these little climbs. You can see where people have scored up the rock quite a bit with the undercarriage of the rigs. You know, a lot of these little climbs are really fun. They're pretty straightforward. Just get your front tires up and climb right through it. Here's a Google Earth picture of the big sandstone section that you're now driving over. There is one little narrow spot that we'll talk about here in a few minutes, but the trail basically takes you up past Darwin's Dip to a cool optional steep climb, up over a sandstone dome, and then to the black hole. There are quite a few narrow spots on Hell's Revenge, and my advice is to always be paying attention and exercising caution. Always be looking ahead at the trail instead of soaking in the scenery. I know the scenery is amazing, but enjoy the scenery when you stop to take pictures and keep focus on the trail ahead of you, because little easy spots like this could quickly turn troublesome in a hurry. It's an easy flop there if you don't stay in the center of that little narrowed out spot. The last time we were on this trail, we ran into a side-by-side ahead of us that didn't center himself and almost rolled off. We're almost to the black hole. You can see Cameron's negotiating himself around a large pothole called Darwin's Dip. I actually got on the radio and called to him just to make sure that he was paying attention. There's spray paint marks around it, and you do not want to put a tire in it. It is a big, deep pothole that will flip you over if you drive into it. It's well marked by orange spray paint. You can even see Darwin's Dip here on the Google Earth picture. And I pulled these pictures off the internet. That's the size of the pothole, which next is probably a 35-inch tire. Here's the famous Dan Mick rescuing a Tacoma. Some of these are pretty well-built rigs that had some trouble here by driving into that Darwin's Dip. Even a Humvee that laid it over. So definitely take caution. After Darwin's Dip is a really cool optional steep climb. We usually try to hit this. This is the best view that I've got of this Darwin's Dip. On the left side of my rig there, you can see the spray paint around it. Do not drive into it, steer clear of it. So you can take the bypass to the right here. Cameron's going up this steep climb in his Gladiator and just gouging up the rock with his tow receiver. And we talked a little bit about this technique for these climbs in episode 1. Cameron just climbs right up this thing. He gets his front tires up, accelerates, and when his rear tires hit the base of the climb, they're moving. All right, here's Bill. He's got a JL Rubicon on 37s. This was his first time on this trail, and you can see he's trying to crawl it, which doesn't really work out all the time. I think it's fine to try crawling an obstacle first, but this obstacle is too steep, has a little bit too much of an abrupt angle at the bottom, so all it takes is a little bit of momentum on climbs like this, and usually you can go right up it. Here's McVeigh coming up, 35s and a 3-inch lift, does a great job there. You got to get your momentum and climb straight up it like that. Don't get to the base and start churning your tires because you will most likely not climb up it. This was my old JKU coming up here on a 2.5-inch lift in 35s. Actually hit it a little bit too slow in my opinion, but still made it up. Here's a video of Coy coming up on 35s and a 3.5-inch lift. You can see how he didn't have enough momentum there and just slid backwards. So a little bit of momentum and he climbs right up it. Here comes Cameron in his old JKU with lockers and 37s. He's really great at these climbs. Hits them with just enough momentum and speed. I kind of think of it like aspirin. Enough's enough. You don't have to throttle out of it like a lunatic, but you just need enough momentum to get up it. All right, here's some dash cam footage from Bill's rig. This is a really great perspective. It shows you how steep it is and it shows you how big it is too. When I watch wheeling videos on YouTube, I'll see an obstacle and I think, man, that doesn't look so big. Like Widowmaker, Rocker Knocker, they don't look too bad, but then you get there in person and it's totally different. This video really shows that perspective. You're pointing pretty high up in the sky there, and the cool thing about that climb is it's not technical. You just point your tires in the right direction, give it some momentum, and it's thrilling to climb up. There's a view of the bypass on the right of that optional steep climb. So we're still continuing on to the black hole. We're going to drive up over one more sandstone dome here and then we'll cover the black hole. Alright, so now we've made it to the trail portion above the black hole. The black hole is this whole geological feature off to the left here. It's kind of a semicircular cutout cliff wall. You've only got a very short section of shelf type road to cross here that takes you pretty close to the cliff edge. The idea here is to keep your rig on the rock and to keep it from rolling down into the black hole. It'll be pretty intimidating if you're not used to driving on shelf roads and narrow mountain passes, but all you need to do is just follow the black tire marks. There's a little crack in the rock on the right there, and Stacy's always riding in the passenger seat, and I just tell her to line up my passenger tire on the edge of that little seam there. You can kind of see the rock kicks up on the right, and I just tell her, hey, put my passenger tire on the edge of that. I'm watching out the driver's side, and just take your time. This spot isn't off camber, and it's not tippy or bumpy, so it's really not too bad. So you make your way around that, and then you head off to the hot tub play area. Now we've made it to the hot tub play area. You've got 3 optional obstacles here. Car wash hot tub, which is the easiest hot tub on Hell's Revenge. You got a really cool, challenging steep climb. It's way harder than it looks, especially when there's water or if it's covered in sand. And finally, you've got the Devil's Hot Tub, which is rated extreme. It's the most difficult hot tub on Hell's Revenge. There's a bypass here. Just kind of make your way around that Devil's Hot Tub and go on your way. Here's a clip from a few years back of Coy on this optional steep climb.
Yes!
Go, baby, go!
And this climb's tough because a lot of times there's water at the bottom of it and that rock is covered in sand. So he's just trying to give it some momentum and a lot of throttle. He's leaning on that skinny pedal quite a bit and then sliding down as he's coming back down.
You almost had it.
You know, if you're trying stuff like this, you really have to know your rig. You got to know when it's feeling light in the front end, and you got to know how to steer accordingly and what to do if you start sliding sideways. Coy's really awesome on climbs like this. He's got a ton of persistence, and it really pays off.
Yeah!
Here's a clip of me coming up in my old JKU. I love doing stuff like this. This is fun wheeling to me for sure. I think if I would have turned passenger a little bit there instead of driver, I may have climbed out of it.
You got it! That's a no.
So just a little backup and reset, and off we go again. Here's the view as you pull into this hot tub play area. That steep hill is straight ahead, and to make it to the car wash hot tub, you stay to the right here, and I'll show you how we get to the car wash hot tub. You can see where Cameron's driving up on that rock. You can get to it that way, or you can take a left here to make it to the car wash hot tub. It's a little bit confusing in this area because the hot tub base is lifted off the ground and you have to climb up to get to them first, so it's hard to see over your hood when you're driving up and over stuff like this. So I do recommend parking your rig at the bottom, walking up and seeing exactly where you need to go to get into the car wash hot tub. So I'm just taking this hill up and Cameron is dropping down into the car wash hot tub there. Now we've made it to the car wash hot tub. This is the easiest hot tub on Hell's Revenge. I definitely recommend giving it a shot. It's not very challenging. A lot of stock rigs can't handle it with no problem. Usually has water in the bottom of it, but the idea here is to put your tires on the black tire marks and climb out of it. It is a little bit V'd out on the bottom there. You can see in between Cameron's tire marks. Grab a spotter if you need. Cameron's directing me here. It is hard to see over your hood. It's hard to see where you need to be driving. But just take it down and climb out of it. It's definitely fun. It'll give you a little more technical wheeling experience, and at least you can say you did one hot tub on Hell's Revenge. I almost always shift my transmission down into first gear on descents and climbs like these. And then on this, I usually try to just get a little momentum and try to keep a steady speed on the climb out.
You're good now. Hey Jeff, just ride and see where my tire track was. Just ride it right there and it'll keep you perfectly even.
Off to the left here, you have the Extreme Devil's Hot Tub. This is the hardest hot tub on Hell's Revenge. I've never tried it. I probably will at some point, but definitely no time soon. It's one of those obstacles that is a full commit to get out of. And if you get halfway or 3/4 of the way up and stall out, or just keep spinning your tires, you've got a really high chance of rolling back into the hot tub. So you've got to be an expert driver to attempt the Devil's Hot Tub. From the hot tub play area, you travel on an awesome slick rock trail up to Mickey's hot tub. This section of the trail is amazing. You've got great views of the LaSalle mountain range, and it's just fun wheeling all around. Here's a little off-camber spot that you should watch out for. It does tip you pretty hard to the driver's side. You can see how I kind of stay on the right side to avoid it. This spot here is an awesome photo opportunity. Cameron's driving down this ledge here, and you really haven't driven down many ledges so far on the trail, so if you're a little unsure of this, don't be afraid to park your rig and scout it beforehand to see the line that you need to take. This ledge is a little bit bigger. You can see my hood bounce when I hit the bottom here, so just be mindful on spots like this. Alright, we've made it to Mickey's hot tub. This is the second hardest hot tub on Hell's Revenge. It's definitely a shorter climb out compared to Devil's hot tub. You basically enter from the back and climb out of it. You can try to crawl it or hit it with some momentum. I've seen quite a few videos of folks with low gearing and sticky tires crawl right out of it.
Big hole right in front of you.
First video here, I'm showing you of Coy. He climbs out of it like a pro with a little bit of throttle and momentum.
Passenger, there you
I
go.
think there's really two ways to climb out of this hot tub, like Coy does here, or you can try climbing out of it with your passenger tire up on that wall.
Come driver just a tiny bit. There you go, right there. That's it. Now straighten it out. That's it. That's the line. Yeah, and then once you start climbing up, once you get your front tires up, you're gonna want to come around and swing around this way. Little driver. Yeah, baby! Easy peasy.
You can see as his front tires crest the little hill there, he turns driver and comes right out. That was really perfect. Alright, here's a clip of me trying to crawl out of it. Man, I just didn't have enough traction. I had those Falcon 38-inch MTs at 8 PSI. This is a shorter wheelbase rig. It was sitting at 104-inch wheelbase, 22 inches of the belly pan on 38s, and I just didn't feel comfortable throttling out of it due to that shorter wheelbase, so I wanted to give it a shot, try crawling it. You can see Cameron is trying to keep my passenger tire kind of up on that wall on the right side there. I have seen folks do this before with success, and that's how I wanted to try it. So I tried crawling out like Coy before this, but kept lifting my front driver tire real good and getting cattywampus. It just wasn't working out for me. There was water in the bottom, but I don't think that was the issue. I got real light in the front end there and then called it quits. Ain't no shame in giving an obstacle a shot and then pulling some cable. Right after Mickey's hot tub, you travel a short distance up to the Dragon's Tail. Now we've made it to the Dragon's Tail. This is an intimidating slick rock descent. It's steep, and the crest from the top makes it hard to see where to steer. So the idea here is to center your rig in the yellow spray paint marks. You can see Cameron is centered right up in those yellow marks on the rock there, and he's taking his time until he gets the right line and can see where he needs to go. This spot will be intimidating if you're not used to wheeling like this. Just take your time going down, pay attention. Don't be messing with the radio or trying to text your friends in this spot. It is an off camber and it's pretty smooth, and you'll feel much better once you get a good view of the trail ahead like this here. Alright, so now we've made it down the Dragon's Tail, and it's a pretty short drive to the optional Escalator obstacle. Once you make it down Dragon's Tail, you can exit out of the trail to the left or the right. If you take a left here, you travel back out on the same trail you came in on, back to the trailhead. If you take a right and you're headed this way, you go to Escalator, tip over challenge, and then exit the trail on the original Hell's Revenge exit. This is really fun driving here because you got some nice sandy spots that come through. Just keep your eyes peeled for razors ripping through this area. All right, so now we've made it to the Escalator parking area. I'm super excited to show you guys how we climb the Escalator obstacle, but that is going to have to wait for the next video. Appreciate you guys watching. Listen, if you like this kind of stuff, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. We'll see you in the next episode.